Choosing to go no contact with your parents is difficult. It's not only difficult on the person deciding to go no contact, but it's also difficult on the parents. But there is work you can try to do before you actually go no contact. Dr. Micah Krempasky is with us this week, and she is going to give us some tips on what you can do before you make that no contact decision. I'm Sarah King, and I have a lot of questions. Hormone replacement therapy. Will that increase your desire to want to have sex? You gotta get that protein. Get that protein. Ladies, you need the protein. Do you think it's been exaggerated? If I have sex the night before my pap smear, can it mess up my results? In this show, I get to ask WakeMed doctors any question I want, and bless their hearts, they have all the answers. Sarah Has Questions is a production of Mix 101.5 and Capital Broadcasting Company, and it's presented by WakeMed. We are talking today with one of our favorites, Micah Krempasky, and you're going to talk about no contact.
Yeah.
And this is a movement that's coming along with kids, or not even kids, just people, adults, going no contact with their parents. So you brought this to my attention.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts initially on this?
Oh my gosh, this is such a poignant topic for me right now. So I just launched my daughter to college in the past 2 weeks. And for the past 6 weeks, I have been a nonstop mess, just crying all the time.
I'm sorry.
I know, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
But when I thought about it, it's this no contact thing that has been ruminating in my brain.
Are you afraid she's going to go no contact with you?
Afraid.
Oh, you're awesome. She's not going no contact with you.
I don't know. We had a conversation about it. So as I was hearing about people cutting off ties with their families, I realized that was one of my biggest fears was when she went to college that I was going to lose her and we weren't going to talk anymore. So we actually had a conversation about it. And I said, if you go to college and realize that like this is an unhealthy relationship, don't cut me off. Let's go to therapy. Promise me that we can talk through it. So that's what happens when your mom is a psychiatrist is you have these awkward conversations.
Right. She's like, oh my God, Mom, could you stop reading books for a second?
Yeah. She said, well, I've already recognized that you're not normal, so we're okay. But it was this really important moment of recognizing that she gets to choose whether we're in a relationship or not. And that was a really meaningful moment for me. So as we think about this, everyone gets to make that choice. And there's a movement where people are choosing not to have relationships with their families.
And who is at the forefront of this movement, do you find?
Yeah, so it seems that it's really happening with the younger generation. So in the past, we valued family above all else. Like
Blood is thicker than water.
Blood is thicker than water. They're your family. It just is what it is. It's a fact. But our younger generations are seeing it as a choice that you get to decide who your family is. It can be family of choice. And so that means when they feel like they don't have a relationship that's healthy, they end the relationship. You don't have to stay in contact with your family anymore.
Well, you know what? I love Gen Z for this reason, because they are seeing that they are autonomous beings.
Yes.
They are not tied to anything, and they're learning from the past generations.
Yes.
In a way, I feel like other generations haven't.
So I think that we're starting to value autonomy and individuality over what the group thinks. So if we think about someone coming up, we get to think about what's best for me.
Yeah.
And if the relationship isn't good for me, then I need to set boundaries around that, and I get to protect my own happiness and my own sanity. So when we think about that in a relationship, we have to be able to meet both persons' needs. Both person in the relationship gets to make sure that it's mutually beneficial. And so just like the conversation I had with my daughter, I think it's really important for us to be having conversations of, how's this working for you? How's this working for me?
Right.
Because we both have to give or take. And that really starts to change as kids grow into adults.
Oh yeah, well, it changes, I think, all throughout the relationship journey that you have with your parents, right?
Yes.
Honestly, the thought that I keep thinking is, how do you trust yourself enough to know that you aren't just in some bad headspace?
Yeah. I think that's really important because it's a pretty nuclear option.
Yes.
So when you decide to cut someone out of your life, I think you have to be really thoughtful about that. It's like you're saying the music is too loud, so you could go in and say, okay, I'm going to turn the music down, or you're going to ask them to turn the music down.
Right.
Or you can walk in, rip the radio out of the wall, throw it out the window,
Right.
and then you have to deal with the consequences of that. So
Right.
I think it's the same thing with relationships. My thought is it needs to be something that happens over time, that you are trying all other things first. You're setting good boundaries.
Okay.
You're clearly stating what your needs are. Like you're working on the relationship to get it to a healthy place. And only after the relationship is not working, you've tried all the things, can you make a decision of, wait, maybe this is not a relationship I need to be a part of. But just because you close the door doesn't mean the pain goes away.
Right.
You have to work through all that, or otherwise you're just sitting with the pain and no way to move forward from it.
So I want you to break apart the steps that people can go through before they decide to throw the stereo out the window and like destroy the music source. So what are some steps?
Yeah. So again, it goes back to what we've talked about before, boundaries. We have to be really clear about what our needs are and communicate those.
Right.
So we need to say, this is what I need. This doesn't work for me. I don't like it when. So we have to own what our pieces are and give people the opportunity to change.
Right.
I also think it's really good to be working with a therapist.
That was my next question.
It's always about a therapist.
Well, I mean, this is a really big decision. And if it requires you to know yourself well enough to know what you need and what you don't need, sometimes it's good to have an outside source to say, to help you spell those things out in order to communicate them.
Yes, and to be able to anticipate what the fallout from this is going to be.
Right.
What does it look like when you cut someone off? What are the repercussions of that?
Right.
What is the guilt that you're going to feel about that? How are other people going to accept that? There may be judgment around it. Other people
100%.
may not understand. And so you've got to really work through those pieces to know.
And a therapist can help with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I would imagine there's going to be like grief.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of grief. And one of the big things that we have to grieve is giving up the idea of what we hoped our parents would be.
Yeah.
So I think we all show up to be the best parent that we know how to be. And we all bring our own pathology and our traumas and all the other things with us.
Right.
And every child shows up with their own needs. And sometimes what the parent is able to give isn't what the child needs. And that's no one's fault.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I think that having kids is kind of like somebody getting a puppy. You know, you always get the old dogs returned to the pound because the puppy stage is so fun, but then the dog stage begins in the training and the sicknesses and the maintenance. They can't handle it. And so I think sometimes people have kids, you know, going into it thinking, oh, the baby's so cute.
And don't realize
so squishy. And then they get into it and it's hard.
Yeah, I was thinking that the babies come without owner's manuals. Like I remember getting that baby and was like, oh my gosh, what do I do with this human being?
How am I going home with this?
Right, so we
do.
They're going to let me take this child
I think every parent has that feeling. I would hope.
Yeah, but we don't know how to parent. We rely on what we learned. We rely on what we experienced, and we do the best we can, but we haven't always had the best role models. Again, we don't know what we're doing. We're practicing in real time with very significant consequences. I mean, we're raising human beings.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's say you've gone no contact. What are some things, I'm just playing this out, like, so you're gone through what are the stages of grief that people can expect?
Well, I think that every person is going to have their different phases of grief because it depends on what the relationship looks like for you.
Right.
And some people that don't do the work, it's not until that person passes away or there's some definitive line where they're not able to go back, and then they have the grief at that point.
Right.
So I think it just depends on what the trauma has been, what caused the no contact,
right.
Where the strife is of how the person will grieve it and what they need to do to find peace with their decisions and the relationship.
Well, and you sent an article from the New Yorker, which is a great article, and I read that, and it was talking about one parent, like, as you say, it would, once you have a kid, it really does feel like part of your heart is living outside of your body. And so you've messed up, you've made all these terrible choices, and then you've decided to fix yourself, but you're no contact. They've blocked you. You don't know where they live. I mean, in some cases, it is really like you just fell off the face of the earth. How does somebody heal a relationship at that point? I mean, is it even possible?
Yeah, I think that's really complicated. My hope would be that we can do something about it before we get to that point.
Right.
So allowing people to grow and separate and find their own individual identity, I think, is the important part. And then once you've had that, the relationship has been severed, then I have to think you have to find your own peace with it and work through your own actions, understand what it means for you.
Right.
And again, just working to find your own ability to cope with it. And I don't think there's a clear prescription for, do this, step 1, step 2.
Right. But I would like to think that, let's say you came from a narcissistic household where, everything is premeditated, and then you go to therapy for your narcissism and you realize what you've done. It just breaks my heart to think that if it was the wake up call you needed, that there's no way back to finding your child,
Yeah. I mean, I think I can't think through all the pieces of that because
it's very complicated.
Yeah, but I think that the most important part is finding your own healing.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the most important part is coming to peace with your own past. And again, I don't think anyone wakes up and is like, I'm going to be a terrible parent today.
No, I would hope not.
I think we all are doing the best we can. And so we have to be gentle with ourselves that we bring our own past with us.
Yeah.
And we need to do our own work to figure out how we show up as our best selves. And so that's a journey.
It is. And like you said, communication, I think, is key. If you're afraid of this happening or sense it happening, you got to talk about it. People are so afraid to talk about these difficult subjects, but they're important.
Yeah.
All right, we're on to listener questions.
Okay.
And I haven't seen these, so I'm putting the glasses on for it. All right, from adult children.
Mm-hmm.
I went no contact with my dad 2 years ago. It was a difficult decision, but ultimately the right one. Lately, I've started having dreams about him. Is that normal?
Wow. What a great question. So I think dreams are the way that we process information. So things in our subconscious can come up through our dreams.
Yeah.
And so I think it can be normal. I think it's a great time to reflect, like it's something that you're working through. So reflect on what's happening in the dreams and bring those into your conscious thought.
Yeah.
See what's there, see how you're feeling about it, see what it stirs in you. And if it's stirring unresolved emotions, then that's something that you need to think through and come to terms with. I think that's a gift, actually.
Yeah, and to the question, it is normal. It's got to be normal. Your brain processes that. I think that's what dreaming is. I don't know if anyone actually knows what dreams are. Maybe that's a future podcast. I'm not sure. Next question. Is it possible to go no contact with one parent but not the other if they live together?
Yeah. That's really complicated,
right?
Of how you do that. So I think you have to find the way that works for you and your own family dynamics.
Yeah.
I think anything is possible. And you can also trial it. What if you just need a break? What does that look like?
Right.
And so you do it stepwise. Wait, I need a break. See how that goes. See how the other parent works. And then you have to work out the dynamics that happen between the two parents that are together.
Yeah.
And then how that does or doesn't impact you.
It's like low contact.
Yes.
Before no contact.
Paused contact.
Yes, paused. All right, next question. How do I handle family gatherings? Oh, Lord, they're hard even when you have contact around the holidays. I'm not in contact with my mother, but I still want to see the rest of my family.
Yep, that's one of the things you have to think about with no contact. The family learns to do a dance. No matter how healthy or unhealthy it is, we're in a dance and we all know the steps to the dance.
Right.
And when you decide to step out of the dance, that impacts everybody else.
That's right.
They may continue to choose to dance in the same way and you can't fit back in, or people may be willing to learn a new dance routine.
Right.
So I think it depends on the family, what the dynamics are, and that's part of what you have to work through.
Yeah, it's like a divorce, and none of it's easy.
None of it's easy. You have to establish new norms. And again, just like you got to make the decisions, they get to make decisions about the new relationship and how they do or don't engage.
Yeah. And you can always, make your own family. There's friends can be family.
There's always chosen family.
That's absolutely right. All right. These are from parents now.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Is there any way I can reach out to my daughter and let her know I still love and care about her while respecting her wishes to have no contact? I don't want to give up hope of reconciliation.
That's a complicated question.
Right?
Because respecting the boundary
would be holding it.
Yes. And you want them to know that you're still there.
Right.
And so maybe when the no contact, maybe the place to think about that is if you're going no contact of saying, is there a time we could check in? Again, maybe asking for the pause, not a definitive time. And then I think also, reaching out after a year may be different than reaching out after 24 hours.
Right.
So I think you have to know where things are. You could also share work you've done. I think a lot of times when people go no contact, they're hoping for new boundaries. They're hoping for it to be a wake-up call.
Yeah.
And so I think another way that you could think about instead of reaching out just to say, hey, I'm thinking about you. Reach out and share how you've changed or the work that you've done. Or, hey, I heard you say this and I've recognized this was my part in it. So if you are able to share something that has changed or some way you've heard them or some way the silence has impacted you, that could be effective.
I agree. I totally agree with that. All right. I believe this is our last question. I have no idea how to talk about this with my friends. Again, this is from a parent's perspective.
Okay.
When we get together, everyone talks about their adult children, but my son has cut me off. I give vague updates because I don't want to admit this to anyone. How can I come to terms with this?
Oh, yeah. The shame, the guilt, all of those things are
like I
such
messed up.
powerful emotions.
Yeah.
And maybe you didn't mess up, right? Like maybe you did the very best that you could do and your child needed something different. Both can be true at the same time. So I think that that's the part of just owning that you did the best you could and you want to get better. But I really think sharing our struggles, sharing a burden is a burden lightened. And so if they're really your close, true friends, sharing it with them, I think they would be honored to help you through it.
Yeah.
And that you might be able to get some insights and help you process it. So I really believe in sharing things, being free, being authentic. And who knows, when you share it, someone else might be then courageous enough to share that they have something similar going on because other people may be hiding under the shame as well.
Yeah. Strength and vulnerability.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. Well, this is fascinating. And I mean, we could go so far into this. There's also reasons. I mean, I know politically things have caused a lot of families to split, which is sad.
Yes.
And there's religious reasons.
Religious beliefs as well, but just change in values. There's so many reasons that it happens. And each story, each person has their own story.
But bottom line is, go see a therapist.
Yes. Hit it early. Like work on the things before they get to crisis.
That's right. Well, thank you for coming in today.
Absolutely.
Always fun to talk to you.
Always fun to be here. Thank you.
This is such a tough situation to be in. As a parent, I cannot imagine my son deciding to go no contact with me. But I've also heard plenty of stories where no contact is clearly the best option. If you are looking for a therapist or need help going no contact with your parents, find a therapist at WakeMed.org. And if you know a friend who actually is going through something like this, send them this episode. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next time.